can have their 5 minutes today.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here today with Sanna Duthie. We're here today to talk about the Chester 100. You had an amazing run at the Chester 100, and for people who, don't know who you are, just give us a brief introduction into, your career in ultra running and what brought us up to now.
Yeah, of course, it's quite a journey, so we might skip a few bits. I did my first ultra in 2015. I kind of slowly progressed into it, kind of went the normal way, did like 5K. It wasn't parkruns, and it was Race for Life. I did that, and Logan, as you can see here, he actually did it with me. He's 13 now.
Oh, bless him.
And I just slowly progressed, and then I did my first 100 in 2015. It was the Pembrokeshire Coast Path. That's where I live, 100 miles, and I was hooked. I was like, I love this, get to be out all day, and it was just amazing. But my first actual ultra was the Gower 50. It went horribly wrong. Not sure why. I never ever did another one after it. Nutrition was rubbish. My nav was absolutely terrible. I fell over, but I obviously was a bit hooked. So Chester was actually my fifth 100 miler. So I think you definitely get better as it goes on. You learn so much. And the GB Ultras, that's my third race of theirs that I've done, and they're always just put on so well. Like just little things like having amazing GPX routes, frequent checkpoints. I didn't do any of the recce days, but you can go recce the routes as well, which I think is great. There's a great community there with them. Everyone's cheering you on, and that definitely helps, because the Chester 100, I spent most of my time on my own. But the good thing about it is there's quite a lot of out and back, so it was nice to cheer the other runners on, and they cheered me on. So that definitely helped to cheer. It's like a London Marathon where you have everyone cheering you. It kind of felt like that, which you don't normally get in ultras. It's normally quite a quiet sport, really. So that definitely helped with the Chester 100. To be honest, it's a lot flatter than what I normally like. So I was a bit worried about how I would find that in my mind and my body, because I know you think flat's easier, but it's not. There's a lot more running compared to when you do a mountain or coast path ultra. There's you don't ever really feel that you should be walking. But also it wasn't like the other canal races of shorter distance that I've done. It was pretty, like, there was lots of pretty trails. It was quite a mixture of canal and treacherous fields that were not dry. That definitely gave me the challenge that I needed. I swear that those last two fields in the last 6 miles, that was just pure race director evil.
I know exactly. I did the Chester 50, and I know exactly what fields you're talking about. And I did them.
If you know, you know.
I know exactly what fields you're talking about. Yeah, just a nice
But
little
I think
thing
by
for
the
the end
time
of the
you get there, you're just like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care now.
Yeah.
But it was weird finishing a race in the dark, not getting to see the sunrise. I think in 100, I always look forward to getting that sunrise the next day. So that was quite a weird experience for me, because I thought even if I got it in 24 hours, which is what I was aiming for, I would get that kiss of sunrise, but I just finished in the dark.
Yeah.
So I did miss that, but I was very, very pleased to get like just over 22 hours. It's a great start to my season, because that was number 1 of 4 100s for 2024.
Wow.
So,
That's an
yeah.
excellent beginning then. So when you entered, did
So
you
nice to
anticipate winning? Or were you just kind of out there trying to do your best?
To be honest, I never really enter any race and think I can win. Not of that distance, because anything can happen to me, or someone can be having a better day. I had the goal of getting 24 hours in mind, and I knew what the course record was as well. I guess they did it on much drier terrain.
Yeah.
But so I thought, well, if I can get 23, 24, I'd be in good stead but also thinking if the record's sub 22, you know, it's easy for somebody else to get that. But after like 25 miles, I was feeling really, really good. And I thought, I think I might have, might have a really good race today. And yeah, and to be honest, it doesn't very often happen, but it kind of went to plan. I didn't really hit any wall. I did what I wanted to do at checkpoints. I didn't waste any time. People were there to help, which was really nice. I didn't have a crew for this race. I don't mind. I'm fine with that. It is nice to have a crew, but also I think they can slow you down a bit as well, as in you got that more opportunity to stop. So yeah, it is a good race to have a crew if you want one, and it's a good one to do if like a kind of beginner. I mean, there's no beginner level for 100 miles, but you can have crew quite easily because it's so accessible, and there's 12 checkpoints, so it's really good to start for a 100 miler, and that's not a loop 100 miler as well. You know, the backyard ultras and things, an easy way to clock it up and manage as well. But I think it's a good first one. So yeah, I didn't think I was going to win until I think when I got to 18 miles, it's like I'm probably going to do it now, because you can see where other people are. So I thought, unless I fall over or something really, really breaks, then I should be okay. Although those fields did make me question whether I was get there in time.
Yeah. Just taking up like 4 hours to cross those 2 fields.
Yeah, it was only 2. It felt way more than that.
Yeah. So what sort of training did you do leading up to the 100?
So I always like to train really hard in winter. My kind of motto is winter miles equals summer smiles, although summer still hasn't come yet. So I had a really strong, solid winter. I typically train between 70 to 80 miles a week with 2 gym sessions. So I was thankfully able to maintain that since October, right the way through. I had a few little races, just like a little. I think it's good to do some smaller races, just so you can test your kit, test your nutrition, your nerves. So I had a good 2 smaller races this year, and I was quite excited then to get started. But yeah, I just took it a bit easier that week. Lots of good sleep and tried to fuel well as well. But I did change job as well, so it's been a bit of a busy beginning of the year, but it's different tiredness, isn't it? So that's more mentally. So yeah, I kind of knew what I needed to do. Just rest, just trust the process, which can be hard. We all hate tapering.
Yeah.
It feels like you should do more. I didn't get to recce the route, but I wasn't too bothered until I got to the start line and everyone was talking about bits, and I was like, oh my goodness, maybe I should have looked into it a bit more. But what will be. So
Yeah, and you did amazing. Like you pretty much led the women's field straight off the bat. Like you were out in
yeah.
front. And all the videos I saw online of you, you were just like waving and you were like you looked so calm. What are your like emotions when you're, going through such a big race? How do you not kind of get overwhelmed by it all?
I think I've learned that being overwhelmed actually doesn't just makes it way harder. I choose to do these races and to push as hard as I do, and I just appreciate that I can be there. I'm grateful for all the volunteers, so that really does cheer me up seeing all the volunteers and like being cheered. I think I'm a bit of an ego chase. As soon as somebody starts cheering me, I'm like, yes. It doesn't like it doesn't matter whether I'm winning or not. I just love being cheered. I don't know why. Definitely feed off that. I think I've just done a lot of races and I really know myself. It's taken a long time. I mean, 5 years ago, I probably would have been much more emotional during races, and but now I just learned that being calm and enjoying it. I mean, obviously things do hurt. I had like a massive blister on my toe, and I had to change my shoes because of the such different terrain. But I didn't let it bother me. I just bandaged it up, put fresh socks on, and off you go. It's just a blister at the end of the day. And obviously it could get worse, but just deal with things there and then. If you feel a bit hungry, don't wait, eat. If you know what you want at the checkpoints, you got quite a bit of time to think, you know where they are. Have it ready, ask the volunteers or your crew, they're there to help you. Just I think I'm very sure of what I want. Sometimes called a diva by my partner when he's crewing me, but I just think I know what I want.
And it works. When I was speaking to Laura, she said everybody was like at your bag because you were like telling everybody what was in your drop bag, and you were like, "This is what I'm having." So just give us like a sneak, like what's in your drop bag.
I had like warm clothes because obviously 100 milers you do go through the night. So I had as well as the mandatory kit, I also had some in my drop bag as well. Extra food, so like all the food that I like, I'm like hammer gels. I use something called Heed. It's similar to Tailwind, but different. I much prefer that. And then I had my bottles with the powder in already, so I could just ask them to put the water in. I'm not faffing around opening powder packets. Salt tablets is something I swear by, even when it's not hot. Um, and I had different trainers because I don't know the area. I wasn't sure, so I put like more I had kind of not like semi-trail, and then I had my trail ones on, my trusty ones, which then I did switch into then at the check bag. But yeah, and I kind of pack it in the order that I think I'll need it. So because that one checkpoint bag was twice, I had my food and spare socks at the front because I knew I'd want that the first time, and then the other things at the bottom for the night, so it would switch once I put it in, and not to have too big of a drop bag. Sometimes less is better. You don't need probably half the stuff that you do, and then you just rummaging around. And I put everything in like separate bags, so like socks in a bag, my food in a bag, just so then you got like that's that bag. It's just I know it sounds simple and we all know it, but just having those little organized things does save a bit of time. And when you're tired, it's less brain power then.
Just little details, isn't it? It's like I know I'm preparing for my first 100 miler, and you're giving me so many like ideas now of like what I'm going to put in my drop bag because I'm like, oh yeah, I'll need that. Good plan. What sort
Yeah,
of things do you enjoy to eat whilst you're running?
this is still something that I think I still haven't nailed properly yet. And I think it is such a hard thing, but I do use a lot of gels. I don't use much real food, but I did eat a lot of oranges and watermelons at GB Ultras. I think oranges are you can't really carry that yourself because they don't last well. And Boost bars are my new favorite thing. I think they've just got the right amount of chocolate, biscuit, and caramel in them.
Yeah.
I ate four of them just which I'm a bit ashamed of, but they just work. As far as like that's the only real food that I have. The rest is normally just gels, salt tablets, and I'm allergic to nuts, so that does limit me a bit.
So how do you deal with sleep deprivation? Because you're going through the night and it's cold at the moment. So how do you
Yeah.
kind of motivate yourself to keep going?
I that was a bit of a shock at Chester how cold that got, and as soon as I felt it, I dealt with it. Because if you leave it too long, that's when you get cold, you can get sleepy when you've already been awake for that long as well. So when you get cold, just deal with it. So obviously we had to carry a thermal layer, and I did have to put mine on. So that shows how important it is to have it. Um, and I don't know with the sleep thing. At home I can barely stay awake past 9 o'clock, to be honest with you. But you put me in a field or running through a canal, I just seem to be able to do it. Stay hydrated as well, just because you're moving a bit slower in the night. Keep eating and drinking because it'll keep your levels high, like your salt and sugar levels high. But also if you can, I tend to buddy up at night if I need to, and that helps so much. I remember when I did a 200 miler, and that was 72 hours of staying awake. That was a challenge. But felt like I was falling asleep on a trail, and then I caught up. Well, a guy caught up with me. He's now known as Scottish Mine, and we were just talking like all the way through the night, and we'd both been so tired, but having someone there then just to moan and deal with the dramas that you do with on a 200-mile race, it just helps. And I know quite a lot of people did get paces for the night as well. And things like that really, really help. You can't practice staying awake all night. I quite often get asked by children when I've done talk at schools, do you stay up all night, do like Netflix marathons? I'm like, no, I don't. You don't do that. I tend to sleep well the week before. Like the night of the race, you won't sleep much, but the week up to then, try and have, like, go to bed half hour earlier. That will help each night. Then you'll feel a bit more refreshed. So I think that's what helps. But
Yeah.
just doing it, it's so much easier while you're doing it. Like, people don't believe it, but when you're in that moment and the adrenaline of the race, people cheering you on, the person that or people that you buddy up with or pace you, you will just keep going. It's not the same as trying to stay awake on, like, at home, or and trying to pull and right. It's not the same. There's something in the ultra that keeps you going.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've already kind of touched on it, but those final few kilometers, obviously I know the course, but for people who don't know, you kind of go through this field, you run along the canal, and then you run up this horrible hill, and at the horrible hill is the finish line. But just tell me, how did you feel in those final kilometers?
I felt elated, and I wasn't sure if my dad was going to be there at the finish or not, because he'd come to pick me up, like if he'd get there on time, because I kind of told everyone it'll be 24. I won't get under 24, so I wasn't sure. So yeah, you have that hill up through that street, and there's like a mini roundabout and a normal roundabout. So kind of walked a little bit between them, because I knew you had to finish on the track, and I was like, I have to run around this 400-meter track. I've never run around a track before. I'm going to do it at the end of a 100. And when I got to the leisure centre, I seen my dad's car, and I was so pleased that he was going to get to see me finish. It's nice to have your loved ones there to see you finish. And I got to the track, and I was like, which way round is it? And I just, like, I started off so slow, and I could just feel myself getting faster and faster. I was like, I don't want to run rubbish in front of all these people, your normal little hobble around at the end. So yeah, it was, I know, like, a lot of people weren't sure if we actually had to run around the track or not, but luckily I knew that, so I just wanted to get it done. get off. I'm definitely not going to be an Olympic 400-meter runner, but I felt it in that moment that I ran around that so fast. But it's a nice finish. It's quite nice because everyone gets to see you, and you get to have, like, a good photo at the end as well. But it was quite weird because no one was about. It was like 4 o'clock on a Sunday morning, so it was like, yes, but so quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your recovery been like since the race?
I slept a lot on that Sunday, obviously.
Yeah.
And so it was quite weird. I was home in bed and showered by 9 a.m. So and I have a bit of a tradition. We got a beach down by us. It's called Sandy Haven, and it's got like a creek through it. So I always go paddling down there with the dogs, because they miss me, so it's their treat. And I found that cold water. It's not freezing cold, but it's just enough to help with your feet and the walking. You have to walk to it. It's not like one of these ones that you can pull up next to and be on the beach either. So that little waddle and the paddle always really helps. And I just do gentle walks. The dogs definitely help you keep moving. And then I just eat. I always have a roast dinner on my dad always cooks me a roast dinner after. So that's always nice. I think all the veg and everything in it. And then I'm just kind to myself that next week. I try not to have too much expectation, because I think we can sometimes kind of rush back to it. And obviously I've got it quite a stacked race calendar, so I can't just, like, get injured straight either. So I got to be sensible. But I did go to the gym on Monday because I feel like lifting the weights helps flush, like, all the lactic acid, all the swelling out of you, and just moves the blood in a different way. I get quite stiff shoulders and neck. I'm sure we all do, especially when you've got to have a head torch for a while.
Yeah.
So it's nice just to get all that moving again. And then just gentle recovery well, I do seem to be recovering a little bit better, which is good. But I then did go out and do a 15-mile run for my friend's birthday on that weekend, on the Saturday and Sunday. But that's fine. It was a birthday run. I had to.
Yeah, no excuses.
Exactly. And there wasn't even any cake.
Yeah. So tell me about these 100 milers. What do you have in store for the rest of the year?
So I have UTS Snowdon 100 a week Friday.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite brutal. The route
Very
looks
different to Chester.
interesting.
Very different.
Yes, but I did plan it because it's nice to be able to do 100 miler. I haven't ran 100 miles since January 2023. I'd done other distances, but not 100. So I needed to know that I could still complete 100 before taking on a mountain one. So it's been a nice, I know it's different, but in your head, you know you can still do it, and that's half the battle. And then my other ones are the GB Ultras. So GB Ultra Brecon Beacon, which I did back in 2022. I definitely want to beat my time on that. So after I want to just recover, and then I'll probably go and recce some of that. And then I got GB Ultra Snowdon then in September.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure how that differs to UTS, that route. So that'll be interesting to go back up there again, 100 milers and up in Snowdon in 1 year will be. But I just love it, the mountains. I just feel free up there. So sorry, let me just stop.
It's all right.
She's doing like this roly-poly thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
thank you so much for coming on with us. I absolutely adored all of the footage coming out, and I'll hopefully be at more of the GB Ultras events this year. So hopefully I'll see you in person. So that'll be so much fun.
that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd
Please
be
cheer me on. It definitely helps me.
I'll know that forever now. Thank you very much.